All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You know how this works. We take a topic, go deep, really explore it, and bring you the insights that matter.
It's all about separating signal from noise.
That's exactly it. And today, our focus is squarely on the automotive world. Dealerships, managers, marketing teams, you're facing a landscape that's shifting at warp speed.
And so much of that shift, so much of that energy is around AI, which everyone's talking about, but not everyone understands how to actually use.
And that's the key, right? Not getting caught up in the hype, but really understanding how to build a competitive advantage that lasts. We're going to do that by looking at something you might not expect. Medieval castles.
Medieval castles. All right, I'm intrigued.
Seriously, think about it. Castles weren't just thrown up overnight. They were built with layers of defense, always evolving, ready for whatever threat might come along.
So, are we saying dealerships need to build metaphorical moats?
Well, sort of. We want to see how those principles of future-proofing, that idea of layers and anticipating the unexpected, can be applied to dealerships today.
And I'm guessing AI is that key building block.
Absolutely. And we're going to use the 30-day AI protocol transformation system as our framework. Think of it as a blueprint for building those layers, those moats, using AI. Because let's face it, you've probably seen a ton about AI, but today we're going to get down to brass tacks and show you how to build something truly resilient, something that will stand the test of time, just like those castles.
All right, so castles. I'm picturing those huge stone walls, the towers, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. But the genius wasn't just in the walls themselves, it was in the layers. You have those outer walls, sure, but then moats, inner keeps, watchtowers strategically placed for maximum visibility.
Okay, starting to get it. It wasn't just one impenetrable barrier, it was a system, and each part played a role.
Precisely. And when we think about dealerships, mastering AI, especially within the framework of the 30-day AI protocol, is all about building those layers, those moats around your business.
So instead of one big AI solution, it's about lots of smaller, interconnected ones.
In a way, yes. It's about creating a network of advantages that build on each other, that compound over time. And one of the most important things the 30-day AI protocol stresses is that preparation beats prediction.
Meaning, instead of trying to guess what's coming next, you get ready for anything.
Exactly. And one of the best examples of this one we've seen over and over is organic search presence. Think about how dealerships traditionally tried to build their online visibility.
Yeah, slow and steady, right? Lots of content creation, hoping to inch up those search rankings.
Exactly. A long game, for sure.
Right.
But now, with AI, it's a different ballgame. The material we've been looking at highlights dealerships that, using AI, can achieve in about 90 days what used to take a decade.
That's a massive difference. Are we talking about AI just writing content faster?
It's more than just speed. The example given talks about a dealership that, in month one, uses AI to create hundreds of unique vehicle descriptions, all localized. Then, month two, comprehensive buyer guides for every model. And by month three, they got a huge library of content covering everything a customer might want to know.
Wow. So while their competitors are still figuring things out, they've got this incredible resource working for them 24/7, pulling in potential customers.
Exactly. And it's constantly growing, evolving, because each interaction, every time someone searches, clicks, reads, it all becomes data that the AI learns from.
So it's like the content is getting smarter, more targeted all the time.
Precisely. And that's just one example. The 30-day AI protocol really hammers home how this compounding advantage, this snowball effect, plays out across every area of a dealership.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are some of the other areas where this AI moat strategy really shines?
We'll think about customer data insights. Every time a customer interacts with your dealership, online, on the phone, in person, it's all data.
And most dealerships, they're using that data, right?
Yeah.
Looking at reports, trying to figure out trends.
Sure, but AI takes it to a whole new level. We're talking about AI that can pick up on subtle patterns, anticipate needs before the customer even knows they have them. Imagine AI that can actually analyze those customer conversations, not just keywords, but the nuances, the emotions behind them.
That's powerful. It's like having a super-powered analyst working around the clock, finding those hidden gems in the data.
Exactly. And then there's personalization. We all know it's important, but AI makes it truly personal. The more a customer interacts, the better the AI understands them. It's not just remembering what they did before, it's predicting what they'll want next.
That takes personalization way beyond just using their name in an email. You're talking about tailoring every interaction to that individual, their specific journey, their interest.
Absolutely. And then there's operational efficiency. Think about all the processes in a dealership, all the moving parts. AI can analyze those, find bottlenecks, even suggest solutions, sometimes even implement them.
So while other dealerships are still doing things manually, they're streamlining, optimizing, becoming more and more efficient.
Right. And think about your team, your staff. As they get comfortable with AI tools, they'll find new ways to use them to be more effective, to close more deals.
Yeah, it's not about AI replacing people, it's about making them better, giving them superpowers.
And here's the thing that the 30-day AI protocol really drives home. All these moats, these advantages, they work together. Better data leads to better content. Better content leads to more interactions. More interactions mean more data, and the whole thing keeps getting stronger.
It's a virtuous cycle, each part feeding into the others.
Exactly. And the 30-day AI protocol, it gives you the roadmap to build this, starting with 3 key layers.
All right, break it down for me. What are these layers?
Well, think of the first layer as content dominance, your outer wall. It's about establishing yourself as the go-to resource, building that initial barrier, that first impression.
Right, making sure you're the one they find when they're searching online, that you're the authority.
Exactly. And with AI, this content isn't static. It's constantly evolving, improving, becoming more effective. Every piece of content is a learning opportunity for the AI, making the next piece even better.
So while the competition is stuck playing catch up, they're pulling further and further ahead.
That's the idea. Then the second layer is customer intelligence, your watchtowers, if you will.
Okay, so this is about gathering data, understanding your customers.
Right, but it's more than just collecting data. It's about having systems that analyze that data, that find the pattern, the insights that you can actually use. It's about knowing not just what your customers are doing, but why.
So not just seeing that they clicked on a certain link, but understanding what motivated them to do it.
Exactly. And the third layer is operational excellence, the inner keep. This is about using those insights, those advantages, to make your whole operation run smoother, faster, better.
I can see how that all ties together. You're creating this incredible content, gathering all this data, and then using it to refine your processes, make everything more efficient.
Exactly. And there's this great example in the 30-day AI protocol about a dealership that did just that. They started with something seemingly simple, AI-generated buying guides. But from there, everything started to snowball.
Let's hear it. How did it play out?
So these buying guides started attracting more visitors to their website, the right kind of visitors. And as those visitors interacted, the AI was learning what they cared about, what features were important, what questions they had.
And they use that data to make even better content, attracting even more of the right customers.
Exactly. But they didn't stop there. They used those insights to improve their sales process, their service, their marketing. They knew what customers wanted before the customers even told them.
So they were always one step ahead, anticipating needs, offering solutions.
Precisely. And that's where the real power of this moat strategy becomes clear. With each step, they're widening the gap between themselves and the competition. And it's not just about catching up, it's about the learning, the insights they've gained along the way.
And that's something you can't just buy or replicate overnight.
Exactly. And that's why the 30-day AI protocol is so clear about this. Waiting to adopt AI isn't just about falling behind. It's about letting your competitors build a lead that could become impossible to overcome.
Yeah, the material we've been looking at is pretty clear about that. Every month you wait, that gap gets bigger and harder to close.
Absolutely. After a month, maybe it's manageable, but after 3 months, 6 months, a year, you're not just missing out on the technology, you're missing out on all that learning, all those insights.
It's like you're letting them build their castle walls higher and higher while you're still gathering stones.
That's a great analogy. And that's why when we talk about future-proofing, it's not about predicting what's next. It's about building a system that can adapt, that can learn and grow.
It's about being prepared, not just for what we know is coming, but for what we don't.
Exactly. And the 30-day AI protocol lays out a very clear moat starting strategy for dealerships. The first step is focusing on what they call learning content.
So content that's designed not just to inform the customer, but to teach the AI.
Right. Instead of just listing features, it's about telling stories, highlighting benefits, showing how those features actually make the customer's life better. And by doing that, you're teaching the AI what resonates, what works, what matters to different types of buyers.
So it's like each piece of content is a little experiment, feeding the AI, making it smarter.
Exactly. And then the next step is building that intelligence layer, those systems that are constantly analyzing, learning, improving.
So going beyond just tracking what customers do to understanding why they do it.
Right. It's about looking at the entire customer journey, not just individual actions. And every insight you gain should make you more effective, your marketing more targeted, your sales process smoother.
It's like you're turning data into a weapon, a competitive advantage.
And then the final piece of the moat starting strategy is focusing on your most defensible position, which for most dealerships is their sales process.
So making sure that every interaction, every phone call, every email is not just about closing the deal, but about gathering intelligence.
Exactly. The 30-day AI protocol has this great example about a dealership that used AI to analyze their sales calls, not just to see what words were used, but to understand what actually made those calls successful. And the results were incredible.
They were able to figure out the why behind the what and use that to train their entire team.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, using AI to constantly learn, to adapt, to get better. And when you combine all these layers, the content, the intelligence, the operational excellence, that's when the real magic happens.
You're creating a system that's greater than the sum of its parts, a system that's constantly evolving, getting stronger, more resilient.
And that's what true future-proofing looks like. While everyone else is scrambling to keep up, you're building a foundation that will stand the test of time.
And that's a powerful place to be.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, the takeaway here, especially for those of you in the automotive world, is that building a lasting competitive advantage is about building those layers, those moats, using AI as your foundation.
And the 30-day AI protocol, it really gives you the blueprint, the step-by-step guide to do just that.
Exactly. And the sooner you start, the better. Because every day you wait, you're letting your competitors build a lead that will only get harder to close.
So it's not just about adopting AI, it's about adopting it now.
Absolutely. And as you think about your dealership, your strategy, ask yourself this: how can you make continuous learning, continuous adaptation part of your DNA? How can you build a system that thrives on change, that gets stronger with every challenge? Because that's what will set you apart. That's what will make you truly future-proof.
And on that note, maybe the best question for everyone listening is, where will you start building your moat first?
That's a great question to ponder. And that's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
See you then.